How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to the Winners Club podcast. Now, in today's new freestyle, we are discussing self-mastery and having different perceptions. And again, if you are new to the channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and also turn on the bell notifications. That is the best way to stay up to date on the Winners Club content. You can also find the audio version of this podcast that'll be linked down below in the description. You can also follow our socials. The link will be down below in the description. Make sure to check those out because we also post updates as well as short form content down there as well. We appreciate all your love and support that you have shown to the channel. And now let's get into today's freestyle.
We're back, or I'm back after some crazy shit. I had pneumonia and I had a dog bite infection. I had like crazy fever. I was in the ER, but we're back. So let's just start with some juicy shit. Yeah. So let's talk about the art of self-mastery and understanding the levels of perception per se in our daily lives. You know, we choose to see things a specific way, a narrow path that isn't necessarily always right or isn't necessarily the best thing for us. You know, I choose to study, for example, a specific way that may be different from you and Miles and all this other shit, because it's what works for me, and I found that to be the most beneficial for me in the moment. But I'm just looking at it one way. I'm not looking at it the way that you could do it, you know, in Miles. That's just an example, though. So first, tell me a little bit about, like, self-mastery. Like, what does that mean?
Miles, you want to go first?
Sure.
I could go if you want.
Bro, you just asked the question.
Okay, bro, I love talking, but go ahead. All
right, no, go ahead.
I think self-mastery is when you really focus on one thing that you want to excel at. Not even excel. It's literally master. Where you become so good at something, you're playing with people who think similarly of you. I mean, when I think of self-mastery, I think of somebody of the Mike Tysons of boxing, the Michael Jordans of basketball, all these other things. These people who truly mastered one ability in their lives that they just totally excelled at compared to others. I think it doesn't always have to be in one kind of innate thing. You don't have to be intimate in whatever you do. I think it could be your mind. You can master your own mind. When we look at people who have, quote-unquote, achieved self-mastery in something, they all have a very unique way of thinking. I listen to Mike Tyson a lot, and what he has to say with Customato, he had the will to win. He wanted to succeed, and he made things pleasurable, desirable, and fun. I think that's exactly how you do that, is by analyzing what it is you want and making the environment for it very, very attractive and easily attainable. But that's just kind of my take on it, Miles, and I know I asked a question, so you go, but I just wanted to say that.
No, that's good. I completely agree, too. I feel as though, you know, when it comes to mastering something, right, it has to feel fun, like you said. I completely agree with that, because if it feels like an obligation, then you're not really mastering it in a sense, you know, like it's just not fun to you. You know, it's like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like almost like a job almost, right? How are you going to be able to master what you're doing if it's not fun to you? Because if it's not fun to you, you're not putting your 100%, you're not putting 100% of your effort into what you're doing. You may think that you are, but you're not. Like, subconsciously, you're not there. You may think that you're doing all this work. Like we had just said before you started recording, somebody could do 30 minutes of an intense workout, right? Whereas somebody does an hour and a half of that intense workout. But that hour and a half, right, they're having fun with it. They're putting more effort into that workout rather than that person that did a high-intensity 30-minute workout.
I'm going to cut you off.
You know why? Because they're having...
You said that the second person B, we'll say person A, person B. Person B doing an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You said doing an intense workout? No. An hour and a half of having a more lightly paced workout, but enjoying it much more. Not looking at that kind of
Oh,
workout
yes.
and having to repeat it the next day with dread. Whereas
Yes,
person
my mistake,
A,
yes.
who has an intense workout is going to look at it like, oh my God, I got to go torture myself again tomorrow.
It's not, right, as an obligation.
Changes it in your mind. It makes it more attractive. But I agree with what you said. I think maybe, I don't know if you meant it like that, but I was just correcting you just in case.
No, I appreciate you for correcting me. I would like go on and I like forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that. So like for example, I'm gonna draw an example like another example to this is I know Brett, you haven't read Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, right?
God, read that shit.
I don't think so. But me and Gibby have read it. And you know how like when he goes through Navy SEAL training, right? He eventually finds fun in it. When it's something that nobody ever finds fun, but he mastered it because he found fun in it. Stuff like that, pretty much. Because he gave it his 100% effort and he made it fun for himself, he mastered it. So that's what self-mastery is to me, I feel like. It's just mastering it in your own way to make it fun in your own way. Everybody's different. But as long as you're making it fun in your own way, I feel like you're mastering it pretty much.
That was a really good example. Like, really, really tough example right there. Another thing that I want to note is when we see people who are masters at something, we think the intensity always has to be high because we always see that kind of advertised to us. So I'm going to take a huge example right now. So the Ryan Garcia-Gervonta Davis fight.
Yep.
We see... I mean, this has been planned for a while now, but we see right now that they're both posting videos of high-intensity workouts, like hyping up the fight and stuff like that. But that got ramped up to the intensity that it is now. It was not. They weren't always training this way because if you were, you'd burn yourself out. Mm-hmm. So we aren't really exposed, like the public media at least, to all the days where they, cut practice short, where they took a bunch of rest days, where they took the necessary discipline, granted more lightly than it is now, to get to where they are. You know what I mean? So I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, is where they look at somebody like Mike Tyson who trained very intensely and think, oh, I must do that every day, all day to be where he is. But no, have fun with it. I mean, when I was playing soccer, obviously I'm not on the same level as all these guys, but I'm saying, like, I remember I was very disciplined in soccer because we had practices that were fun. You know what I mean? Like on weekends we would really just mess around and play games, not actually have like an intense 3v3 loser runs 4 miles kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I feel like that is where people go wrong and get turned off by the label of self-mastery. But it's an attractive thing because the feeling, I haven't experienced it, but the feeling must be astonishable,
Yeah.
So yeah, I know me and Miles have been talking. So like, what do you think about self-mastery though, Brad?
I think the most recent example I can give, I mean, we're coming down to finals week. All of us, we have a ton of, projects, exams, labs, etc. And this, I know it may look tough getting all the piles of projects, exams, homeworks you all have to turn in, but that's time where you can still enjoy yourself and have fun, even during, wanting to master your major, master your craft. Just always have fun with it. Like, for example, I had a lab that was due today, and I was doing it yesterday. It's a group project, but I just dreaded it for so long. It's just like looking at it's really like 56 pages. It's long, but during that time, I had fun with it. I put headphones on, listened to calming music at first, and then just like let my playlist go out. And I was still having fun, and even I finished the whole thing in 3 hours, still having fun doing the lab, and that even made me more motivated after to start the next lab too. So I think always just staying consistent with it, but also making it really fun as well, like you guys have both.
Well, see, what you just did was that you changed your perspective on it. You know what I mean? You looked at it now as more inviting because you found joy in it.
Yep.
And I think what that is once you change your levels of perception, not only does it make it easier to attain self-mastery, but it also allows for a direct path towards freedom. I feel that the term freedom is very misunderstood nowadays because people think freedom has to do with rights and things like that, which to an extent it does in society. But freedom internally of I am free to express myself in any way that I choose and live the life that I've always desired. How do you do that? You must see things from a new perspective and master it in that perspective that you choose, but just be open to a bunch of different ones. Do you know what I mean? Just like my norms might not register as your norms.
Yeah.
Something like that. But I really do believe that, Jocko Willink says it, that discipline equals freedom. Discipline is a part of self-mastery. I mean, you have to have discipline to function in that kind of role. That's how you change your life, is through discipline. But another thing that I've really thought of lately is understanding what discomfort or pain actually means. It's just a circumstance. It's literally just a circumstance. It's not really painful. It's just uncomfortable because it's new. Look at perceptions, per se. When I look at something in a new light, I don't get it at first. It's uncomfortable. I don't really know. I don't know why this is even being viewed like the way it is, but then the more I kind of get into it and analyze it a bit, I realize, it's just a circumstance. Like, it's not actually uncomfortable. I'm just labeling it like that because it's not fun. I'm not enjoying it. So that's where I feel like a lot of people go wrong, is because they get turned off by new perceptions. But it's really, really inviting, and it's going to welcome eventual and inevitable freedom. You know what I mean? When you look at somebody like Michael B. Jordan, I know, Miles, you reposted this like a couple weeks ago, where Michael B. Jordan's just sitting down and he's talking. He's like, I'm different, I'm built different from other people because I don't go out. I'm building my foundation now so I can live the way I want. He's expressing his desire for freedom someday, and he's going to do that through self-mastery. And obviously, Michael B. Jordan, very, very great actor. Everybody knows him because he's mastering it. That he's selecting something that he wants to master, and he's doing it to attain freedom. We don't even know what freedom is like yet, but from what I can see, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just through perception changes and mastering freedom.
Yeah, no, Gibby, I agree. That thing that I reposted, it really resonated with me too because, he's right. While you stay home and do work, even if it's not a lot of work, if it's still pushing you towards your goal in life, you're going to be ahead of so many people. And like he was saying in the video, he was like, I feel like I'm so ahead of people because I be staying out while people go out and party. He was like, I don't want to party right now. I want to get my stuff done so that way later on I could party. Because in a sense, especially in college too, I know we mentioned college like a lot, but like it's just so crucial because this is where it happens the most, to be honest. Kids are going to want to party and kind of almost piss away their entirety of college because they just want to party, drink, and do all this other stuff.
Yep.
Right, exactly. Their prime years of their life.
Years of our lives. We'll never be this young again. We have so much opportunity at our hands, yet people want to go out and throw it away, thinking that 4 years of their lives right now will last forever, but it will not. And that's where the Bill of Regret comes from. And it's very scary. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to live with regret at all. I think it's terrifying. And I'm going to interrupt real quick because you talked about like building the foundation. I feel like there's kind of like a time limit to build a foundation. You can't build a foundation when you're 50. That's just like you're trying to like refine your shutters outside, make them look better.
Yeah.
It's not even that though.
The
Like,
foundation is now. Is a do or die moment. Sorry.
yeah, I know. It's not even just like after college though. Like, a foundation is now, dude. When you're an undergraduate student, I don't think a lot of people realize like your freshman and sophomore year, those are the years to make the connections, dude. You can't make connections when you're a junior. You can kind of get away with it, but not really. When you're an upperclassman and then grad student, that's real shit, bro. That's when you have your shit together. You know what you're doing in life. You have the connections. You're doing these internships. That's why I think it's so important to build a foundation. Dude, even in high school, if you can, start looking at opportunities, start making connections with people. Just talk to people, network, So, yeah, like, obviously you can't do it when you're 50, but to be honest, I don't even think you could do it when you're, like, 23. Do it now. Do it now when you're 18, 19 years old, when you're an undergraduate student. I'm telling you, that is probably some of the best advice I have ever heard. And it's definitely gotten me to a lot of places. So.
For sure. I mean, you grow as an individual regardless once you kind of get the motives to chase a desire. I mean, even if it's something that you think is so out of the realm, do it because that's opening a new perception on life. Do you know what I mean? Like, just follow a new perception when it's given to you. There's a reason why people, once they have like a traumatic family death or some crazy wild example like that they see the world in a new light, or a near death experience. Do you know what I mean? It's they have this new perception of life. They choose to live by that, you know, and it's very eye-opening. Same thing, though, if you're exposed to something where it can lead down the path of self-mastery. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is a life-changing thing. Everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants to be free financially to do whatever they want. I mean, money does grant freedom in a sense.
Definitely.
It's with the society that we live in, at least. You can't live in a mansion when you're making $50K a year, you know? You need to achieve mastery. I mean, if you're making $50,000 a year consistently, what are you mastering in? You know, I guarantee that you don't wake up 4 a.m. every single day like somebody like Elon Musk would do. You know what I mean? Sleep in a factory, countless emails and all these other things. I mean, the way that you earn money is a reflection of your dedication and work ethic. So I also feel like the people who think that rich people are evil and stuff like that, I mean, I don't know, maybe like Jeff Bezos is at heart, I don't know, but I'm saying their money reflects their work ethic and their levels of self-mastery. You know what I mean? And they have freedom. That is what the process will allow for, is self-mastery cascades into freedom. Freedom will grant happiness. Freedom will alleviate a lot of problems. I mean, we see it every day now. People who are in low income households and stuff like that, they're always stressed and always cramming for everything because they have no freedom whatsoever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guarantee a lot of their problems would evaporate if they had freedom.
No, definitely. I want to go back to your point, Miles, too. I think we are obviously at our peak years of just trying different things. I saw a post by Gary Vee. He said your 20s and 30s is you should be building your foundation, trying new things. Even if you fail at it at first or fail at it, keep trying, keep doing different things, because you're still growing no matter what. Even if you try skateboarding for the first time and completely fail, you've still done better than if you didn't try it at all and just thought and just wrote notes on skateboarding. You still took that action rather than, you know, just writing down on a piece of paper, writing notes all day, like, oh, I want to know how to skateboard, and writing down how to do all these tricks when you don't even know how to set the foundation to even get on the skateboard and do an action. So I think it's very important that us at this time, we really just get focused, and as we've been talking, all self-mastery and stuff, just stay locked in.
Yeah, definitely. I think changing a way of not necessarily making things fun, but making things easier, or handling failure easily.
Definitely.
Means turning failure into more of a objective way of thinking, where you're not going to be influenced to quit because you failed. You know what I mean? You're not going to feel remorse. You're going to understand that this perception just simply did not work. Let's look at it at a new angle. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. And I feel like that's where a lot of people go wrong, is, again, they get turned off by this one perception that they thought would work but didn't. But you have to understand there's millions and millions of perceptions to see things by, and there's millions of perceptions to live by. You know what I mean? The way I live my life right now and the norms that I have, I could wake up tomorrow and just look at it in a totally new way and have a whole new way of living. Obviously, it's very, very hard to do without it. You know my point is what I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
So I think that is a huge thing. And now I'm going to just totally ramble on about something else for 1 second, because depression, okay?
Yeah.
Depression is when we're looking at a bunch of things in specific perspectives to make sure in our brains that everything's negative. You know what I mean? Whether, we have trauma, these other things like that, and obviously it's very, very bad. But when we dilute our thinking and our perceptions into a bunch of negative shit, obviously we're going to be feeling negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think of it as wires. Do you know what I mean? All these wires are all over the place, but then they all connect to this power outlet. But this power outlet is depression in your mind. It's all the negative neurons firing to hit that one spot.
Mm-hmm.
Totally throws you off balance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a way that you can combat that is being conscious of it and looking at things in a slightly new perspective over time. That
100%.
definitely helped me. I feel like I started looking at things like, okay, my diet was really, really bad. I'm going to start looking, okay, instead of having strawberry shortcake, how would I have strawberries or something like that?
Yeah.
That could maybe help my brain a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of going on TikTok before I go to bed, I'm going to put my phone down for 5 minutes instead and see if I can get a little bit better to sleep. All I'm doing, though, is just changing my perceptions of how I'm going to do this and see if it will affect that. It's trial and error. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm constantly going through it. But I'm working towards self-mastery.
Mm-hmm.
Changing my perspectives.
Now, we hope you enjoyed today's listen to the new Freestyle. Again, if you are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification. And also, let us know in the comments what you thought of today's episode. Now, again, the audio version of this episode will be linked down below in the description, so make sure to check that out, as well as all our socials. They'll be linked down below in the description. Now, we hope you all have a lovely day and a great week. And until next time.